Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we'll be going on to the sewing tutorial of this style. So the first video of the cutting tutorial is up in my channel already. Please check it out. I think it's a video, two video after this one, if I'm not mistaken. Just is close by, just look for it. Is not so I'll try to put it in the description box so that you guys can easily access it, the cutting tutorial. So we are going to go into the sewing tutorial today, and for this we've gone ahead to cut to transfer all our pattern to our fabric, just like you see on the first clip, and we're going to go ahead and go into the tutorial, and I will see you at the end of the video. So the first thing I did is to open up my neckline, the pattern on my neckline, and I cut my fabric into two places. I want to use one to turn the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this together, and I'm going to stitch my go to my sewing machine to stitch my armhole from one side to the other. And this is it. After I was done stitching it down, the next thing I'm going to do is to make some notch, little notches around this curve area so that I can turn it inside out. And then after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and iron this the down part by 1/2 inch, just like you see me do. Please go ahead and do this same thing so that it will be easier for us to attach to the other part of the bodice. And these are my flares. I've gone ahead to cut it into my fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch it down. And for this we have front and the back. So for your flare, you're going to divide it into two, so it's going to be two, the front and the back, because of the style. That's why we are cutting it into two. So for this, for the front one, I'm going to place the first one and then place the second one. Remember, we labeled it while after we are done cutting it, so it's easier for us to know where to place each of them. So the first one is the first one, and this is the second, third. I've gone arrange ahead to arrange how it's going to be. So just like you see me flip it over, that's how we are going to flip it over, and then stitch it from one end to the other. You're going to, once you are done, you open it up. Sorry, you open it up and then flip the other one over, just so that you don't make mistake of where the other one is supposed to be, and then stitch this one all the way around. I'm just pinning it together so that I can know where each of them is. So when I am done stitching the other one, I'm going to go ahead and then place the last one onto it and then stitch it all the way from one end to the other. And I will do the same thing for the back bodies. At this moment, anyone can serve as the back or as the front, whichever one you want to use. And then for the other part of the bodies, I've gone ahead to cut out my lining for this. Surprisingly, I have lining today. So where I'm touching is where you're going ahead to stitch it down, because you want to turn this inside out. And I also do the same thing for the other part of the bodice. I forgot to do it while turning my neckline, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up and then do it as that's at the remaining part of the armhole. It's not going to have sleeves, so we are just trying to turn the armhole inside out. And another way to do this to be easier for you is to join the two bodies together. Then that's the small piece to the main lining to the lining, and then the main fabric to the fabric. When you are done, and you can go ahead and stitch the neckline. That's the easier way to do this. Do it. But I've already gone ahead to stitch my armhole, my neckline, before I realized that's easier way. So I had to continue with what I was doing. I couldn't change it or go back. So once I was done stitching on the armhole and the side of the bodice, I turn it inside out, and then I'm going to go ahead and iron it down. And also for the other parts of the bodice, that's the neck area, I also turn it inside out once I was done with the armhole area, and I'll iron it down. So this is it. I was done stitching the ironing down. The next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I mash that point that I just showed you guys. Mash it up, and then you're going to place it inside neck area. Remember that place is open, and we iron this in by 1/2 inch. So you're going to place this into your fabric and then iron it down. But peradventure you are doing yours, stitching this place before stitching the neckline, you don't need to go through this process. All you have to do is just to stitch it front facing front, just like you normally do before turning the neckline. I hope you understand this. So I went ahead to stitch it down, and while stitching it, you find out that the area I just touched now will have a little bit of fold there. Just overlap it and then stitch, continue with your stitching. So this is my flay. I've gone ahead to stitch the two pieces, all the pieces together. This is the front and this is the back. Just like I said, anyone can serve as the back or the front at this point. And I have SS's at one side of it. I'm just going to go ahead and trim it off, also for the other side. And then for the waistline of the back one, because there's no bodice at the back, I'm just going to go ahead and use this piece of fabric. I have 2 inches for the length, and then the width is as long as the waist. I'm going to go ahead and use it to pipe my waist. And remember, whatever you're going to pipe will be enough for your elastic to pass through. And while cutting out this, make sure it's longer than your fabric, because it's a flay. If it's the same measurement with it, by the time you turn it in, you'll find out that it's a bit shorter. So I've gone ahead to pass my elastic into it and also stitch the opening of it so that the elastic doesn't go out. And for the my front bodice, I've gone ahead also to stitch it down on my bodice. While stitching it, you find out that there is excess there. All you have to do is to plait it into the bodice. The reason for the excess is because of the back bodice that have elastic on it. I hope you understand this. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch the two seam side of the placing it to mix at the waistline, and then stitch the two sides together. I had to transfer myself to another location. Let the light, we're having a light issue, not really light issue. The NEPA has been frustrating us these days, so I have to transfer myself to another location so that I can finish up this video. So this is it after I was done stitching it down, the two seam sides. So we're going to measure the area we want to attach our V, our back, crossing back, whatever we are going to call it. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this from my shoulder line all the way to the waistline, and I have 15 inches there. And I also measure the wideness of our shoulder, because you don't want to have whatever you are going to cut out longer than your shoulder. And what I have there is about 2.5 inches, if I'm not mistaken. So I've gone ahead to cut out a straight paper for it. I have the length at 16 inches. I added 1 inch allowance, and then I have the width about the length, the other side 2.3 inches. I added 1/2 inch stitching allowance to it. So I'm just going to fold the paper into two and then fold it again. Once I open it, you see that I have lines on the paper, so I'm going to go ahead and slash this open. Remember, we are not cutting all through the paper, we're just cutting a little, we are leaving a little bit of the, we are not cutting everything through, sorry. So I open it up, it's more like we are doing slash and spread. So I open it up by 1 inch and I transferred it to another paper. Sorry, I couldn't show you guys how I did it, but I have a tutorial of where I showed how to do this very well on my caps tutorial. I'll put it in the description box so that you can check it out. I didn't do it here because of the position of this video of where I was doing this tutorial. I couldn't do it, so I cut out my pattern, my fabric into two. I'm going to use one to turn one. Where you see me touching is where you're going to stitch at the up and the down part, and I went ahead to turn it inside out. If you have light, at this moment, please go ahead and iron this down. But if you don't, like me, please, let's continue with the video. So I'm just going to ahead to place this. I'm just making sure that what I am placing is what I'm supposed to place. So I place it front facing front on the body, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch it down at the shoulder line. and then I'll check the other side, making sure that that's how I'm supposed to place it. You don't want it to face the other side. Then once I am done, I'm going to go ahead and stitch the shoulder down. So this is it. After I was done stitching it down, I'm going to just go ahead to check it again to make sure I have what I'm supposed to have. And remember, they have a stitching allowance at the waistline. I'm going to go ahead and then use that stitching allowance to stitch down the crossing back on it. We're going to serge this afterwards. So I just turn it and then stitch it down. For this hemming part, I'm going to serge it and then turn it on over with 1/2 inch, or you can as well stitch it down by folding it into two instead of serging. And that's all for this style. I hope you enjoyed this video. At that seam line, you'll find out that the excess that we used to stitch the crossing back will be showing. What you have to do is just to add your what's it called the add your hemming gum and then iron it to keep it in place. That's what I'm just showing you guys now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.